Well, hello and welcome to the Cincinnati Kingdom podcast. This is season 3 and episode 21. And I'm your host. As you can see, just along this bit here, because this is all new, I'm using Restream rather than OBS. My name is James Graham, and alongside me over this side, and I get it right first time, it's Angus for making his debut on the show. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's been a nice week. Slightly productive at work, slightly not. It's
Yeah.
been a great fall week. We've actually hit fall here, sort of. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Second summer could be right around the corner here in Virginia. You never know.
Well,
But it's been a good week, and hopefully 3 points tomorrow. So we'll see.
fingers crossed. We will giving you guys out there a little preview of what is to come. We have got Cincinnati this weekend, but also we'll be looking back over the game last weekend, which was at a fantastic time for me because it was at 8. Well, it kicked off at 8:50 p.m. local time for me, which was just. I went to bed at a normal time for once after a DC game, so that was awesome. But other things we've got coming up on today's show, we've got the score prediction update, but that's happening between me, Tom, and Daniel. As you can see, they're not here; they are snowed under with work at the moment, so it is what it is. We've got obviously a bit of news to come up. Like I said, we've got the catch up with the game against Atlanta United, with a few interesting talking points. The preview, and then if you've got any questions, please do hit them up in the chat. We've got one already, so if you've got anything, let us know, and we will answer them live on the show. So, as you said, it's fall, or as we like to call it over this side of the pond, autumn. But yeah, it's leaves are turning different colours. It's starting to get a bit cold. I don't know what it's like over there for you. Have you had to turn the heating on yet?
No, I mean
Good.
it got down to, I don't know, 65-ish last night, which is
65.
Fahrenheit for something over there. It's above freezing.
65. 65. You said. Let me have a look.
Yeah,
It's 18 degrees. That's
yeah,
nice
yeah.
and warm.
No, yeah.
That's good.
Here in Northern Virginia, it's kind of temperate. I cracked the windows last night. Turned off the AC, turned the fan on. It was great. Leaves haven't started to change just yet, all the way, but it
No.
gets it because fall in Virginia is a little bit longer than it is in other places, especially probably in England where it just gets more muggy and cold than it already is.
Yeah. Pretty much.
But yeah, fall is great. It's great, like relaxing weather, I guess, because you're not sweating and you're not shivering, so it's nice, and it's usually not raining.
Yeah. That's decent. Yeah. Because I
Yeah,
know, obviously, in the last sort of couple of months, it's been rather hot for you guys, hasn't it? It's been a bit sweaty,
yeah,
to say the
yeah,
least. I've
and I'm
experienced it.
I'm on the larger side, so you're stepping out of the car and going to a game, and you're just like, oh god, it's going to be a sweaty
Oh,
one today.
yes.
But yeah,
Yes.
we're the other thing that fall means is it's the home stretch. We got less than 10 games left. We're looking towards the playoffs. We're on the outside looking in right now, but we control our own destiny. So
Yes.
we'll see how this all shakes out.
Absolutely. First comments coming in here. I'm going to do a new little thing on this. We're going to show it up on the stream. Here we go. Look at that. Beautiful weather here in the DMV. Rithik, thank you for that.
That it is. That it
That
is.
is, I mean, to be fair, over here on this side of the pond, it has been pretty good weather. It's today it's been 24 degrees Celsius. I'm actually going to let you know what that is in in Fahrenheit. So that has been
Let me
roughly
guess.
around
That's like 75, 80-ish.
75.2 to be exact. Look at that. You know your conversion.
I know it
Um,
one way. I don't know it the other.
I really don't know it. That's why I use Google. It is a big old friend. But yes, it's been pretty lovely over here today. I ended up going for a couple of walks, as you do. But looking ahead in the forecast, it's looking a bit dreary, a bit cloudy, a bit overcast, a bit nah. So classic autumn weather for us.
Well,
Right.
I'll let you know. Tomorrow is supposed to be
Oh,
beautiful. So game time, it's going to be crisp, it's going to be cool, and hopefully that ball's going to be moving nice and fast over brand new slick grass.
exactly. That's one thing I've got on the list of things for us to talk about is that new, and I'm going to use and the American term turf, even though actually no, it's not turf. That's our term. Sorry. Um, I mean, turf over you
It's
guys is
grass.
fake
It's
grass,
grass
isn't
or
it?
turf.
Yeah,
So
it's
AstroTurf is the name brand of synthetic turf, which is the clinical term for whatever you might want to call
yeah,
it. So the organic or like the natural term would be just regular turf. So
yeah,
or just
yeah,
grass. Yeah.
yeah. It's just one of those lovely, weird things that seems to doesn't translate very well. Right, score prediction league. This obviously you've listened to the show, Angus, and for those you guys out there, it's not looking good for me. It's starting to look like I will be wearing the Metro Stars shirt at the end of the season, thanks to that bet.
I'd like to point out I am not I will be giving predictions and I will
Yes.
expect to be scored, but I am not in this competition at all because I have taken I don't know, unless I win. If I go on some weird tear and I win, then I won. But if I lose, I'm just gonna chalk it up to I missed
Yeah,
half the season with a podcasting injury. So
exactly. So I'm currently on 9 points. Daniel's on 18 points, and Tom's on 6 points at the moment. So I am way behind. I really don't want to wear that shirt. And I would love to make Daniel wear a Spurs jersey, so that will be fun. Good afternoon, Keenan. It is afternoon for you because you are on the West Coast. So it must be what 2 p.m.
every
on the
game's a
West
prime
Coast.
time game.
Yeah, git. Lucky git. Anyway, talking points. So news over this last week. The first thing I've got on there is about the League's Cup and the CONCACAF Champions League being rejigged. Now, Champions League is now 27 teams?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't necessarily know how that's going to work out because it's an
yeah,
odd number, but I think it's probably going to be some sort of systematic buy scheme where
yeah,
similar to now where there's like certain teams enter at certain points. I don't know. It's weird.
yeah. I think from what I could gather, there's a certain amount of teams that head straight into the round of last 16. And
Yeah.
then there's the group games, which I'm guessing is
Yeah,
for
I
the
guess
smaller teams.
yeah, similar to like I guess like early qualifying for the FA Cup and stuff like that
Yeah.
where it's not like the DFB Pokal where like all the German teams all over the country just start at the same time, right?
I mean, that's how it should be.
It is. It is. Yeah, I agree. If there's anything that Germany's done right, it's their soccer system. But
Yeah.
looking at what we got, I it's CONCACAF, right?
Yeah.
Am I excited for it? Yeah. Am I going to watch it if DC United is involved? Of course. Am I
Yeah.
going to watch it if they're not involved? Probably. I'll put on the Rob Lowe League Shield hat every now and then to support the league.
Yeah.
But it all comes down, in my opinion, to like actual team engagement, right? You're not going
Yeah.
to see, and that's shown like in regular MLS games. Nobody
Yeah.
just watches MLS; they watch their team. So it'll be interesting to see how in more inclusive and more teams getting in will raise the profile of the tournament as a whole.
Yeah. And I think the other thing, obviously, is the fact that it's at a different time of year as well.
Yeah.
Because of what it's traditionally been has been at the start of our season,
Yep.
which really knocks us out. That just means that,
It's been the excuse against Liga
yeah.
MX is that they're in the middle of their season and we've just finished our preseason, so we can't
Yeah.
possibly beat them because we're not in stride yet.
Yeah.
So
So we haven't got that excuse anymore. But the other, obviously, competition that's in its early infancy is the Leagues Cup, and that's been rejigged already for the third time in what is three years of its
well, we
existence.
lost it last year, so three
Yeah.
iterations, and yeah, which was annoying because DC actually qualified for the Leagues Cup for the 2020 season,
Yeah.
and then they dropped it because of the pandemic. So
Yeah.
I was excited to see us probably lose to a Liga MX side, but I was going to go to the game anyways because it would have
Oh,
been
yeah.
hosted because all the games were in the US at that point, and
I think they
we're
still
yet
are,
to
aren't they?
see. Well, we don't know. They didn't
I thought
really
that was
tell us.
part of it, wasn't it?
Well, they said they wanted a World Cup system, and to me that
Yeah.
says one host city and everybody travels to it, thus
Yes.
eliminating the traveling. Because if you're going to pause the season for a month anyways,
Yeah.
if everybody converges on I don't know Orlando like MLS Cup
Yeah.
or LA or New York, then then there's no real home field advantage.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a level playing field, but you
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah. I mean, that would be nice. Definitely to have a host city, or change it whether it's between USA
Yeah.
and Mexico and alternate.
Yep.
That would kind of work. So yes, they're pausing both seasons for a month. I don't think they've announced what time of the year that's going to
The
be.
summer, a
The
summer
summer,
month. Yeah, the summer. So
yeah, that
the
could
season,
be,
a month in the MLS season. We
yeah,
don't know when.
yes. And then it's every team, which is
Yes,
just
which is also an odd
bonkers.
number because I think it's like 47. So there'll be a 5-team group or a 3-team group, or well, because at the moment it's an odd number,
Yeah,
but
but I think when it comes
this
into
is in
play,
2023, so there might be expansion teams that have come in to make it an even number at that point.
yeah, I think we'll have an even number by that point.
Well, we
I'm
have an
pretty
even
sure.
number right now. We have 26.
No, we have 20. Oh yeah, we do have. Is it
Yeah.
26?
Yeah.
It's so
Oh, you know what it
confusing.
is? It's Charlotte is coming in
Next year,
2022,
yeah,
right? Leagues Cup takes up in the year between Charlotte and St. Louis. So that
yes,
first year of Leagues Cup will have an odd number of
and
27.
then it
And then
becomes.
the year after it'll be 28. I
Why
bet
is it
that's what
so
it is.
confusing?
Because it's CONCACAF. And that's the
Yeah,
best part about CONCACAF is it's stumbling around in its infancy. Cuz like think about it. You know, UEFA's got it figured out because they've been around for 100 some odd years.
yeah. Oh,
Meanwhile, soccer in the US, if depending on who you ask, started when the expansion team rolled in, to be honest.
it's just honestly, we'll get there. It'll get there.
Yep.
Right, but yeah, that's enough of that. I think because I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. To be honest,
Yeah.
um, next one, Audi pitch, been relayed because of there's been some
Yeah.
extracurricular events. I want to call it.
Yeah, our football was there on Saturday.
Yes.
And then we had lacrosse on Sunday. And I don't know if you've like seen lacrosse ever because it's literally an American game.
Yeah. I've never
Because it
watched
was
it, but I know people
yeah.
who've played it.
Yeah, it's equivalent. I would put it on the same pedestal as like field hockey in Europe.
Okay.
They're
Yeah.
very similar in popularity. Super popular in the Mid Atlantic and northeast. Very
Okay.
popular because it was originally a Native American game that
Yeah.
Americans colonists kind of took over. It's really interesting
Okay.
history. If you're curious, look it up. I wrote a paper about it last year for school. So really cool game.
Yeah.
I never played it myself, but I know a lot of people who did because I played ice hockey and there was a lot of crossover between the two sports. So
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. I think I've seen a couple of pictures up online about the pitch. It's looking quite all right.
it's
It looks
green.
like yeah.
It's very green.
Yeah. It's a good start. That's what it needs to be.
I'll tell you this. I was at the stadium, or I was outside the stadium on Wednesday for we'll call it an extracurricular activity.
Yep.
And they had either their extras or pieces of the old field that they had torn up. They had laid out in this. There's a vacant lot that is just a grass field. Those who have been to the
Yeah.
stadium know. They had it like just laid out there along with some extra dirt. And so I walked over and I touched it and I stepped on it. It's amazing stuff. And then from what I could see inside the field, it was green and it seemed more together than the League's Cup final grass field in Las Vegas. And we'll get a good idea of what it plays like and what it looks like tonight with the international friendly.
Yes.
So hopefully El Salvador and Guatemala don't kick it up too bad.
Fingers
But
crossed.
yeah, I would go if I didn't have other stuff tonight because it looks fun.
Yeah. The tickets were quite expensive though. I think it was $50.
The cheapest seats were $50, which is $20 more than a DC United ticket. So,
which, when you class it as an international, then you
it's
kind of start to.
It's a friendly.
It's a friendly.
That's where I kind of drew the line. If it was a competitive international game,
Yeah.
yes, they wouldn't even be playing at Audi. They'd probably be playing
No.
at FedEx because that's the kind of population they draw,
Yeah.
especially with the Salvadorian community here in the DMV. So
Yeah. But no, it's good because we've also got a couple of players playing tonight, haven't we? Jeremy
Yeah, we got
Garay
yeah.
and Alexon Saravia.
Yes, the two Loudon players, one has a homegrown contract. I believe the
Yeah.
other was an academy kid. I also know that there's a new kid who just got signed to Loudon to play on his amateur deal from the DC United Academy. So
Oh wow.
like to kind of fill in the
Yeah.
spots while these two are on their international leave. So this is great. It's great to see the pipeline actually working.
Yeah. That's awesome. I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
I'll have to
yeah.
find out
I
who that
believe
is.
somebody's somebody's mom's coworkers. Their kid is the kid who got called up, and I think
Ah.
that's I think it's Cameron's mom on Cameron on Twitter. He's in
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
couple. He's around the scene. If you've been
Ah,
to a game, he's the guy with the Iranian flag around his
oh,
shoulders all
nice.
the time. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
There we go. So hopefully, yeah, the game tonight won't ruin the tough. But then I always think it can't be any worse than the Yankee Stadium field.
yeah. And people are saying, "Oh, I don't know if it's going to be set in time. I don't know if it's going to be right." And I'm just sitting there going, "Well, at least it's not literal sod from Home Depot stapled onto an infield of a
Yes.
baseball field."
Yeah. Because
Because
that was just that's a horrendous pitch, and I still don't
yeah,
understand how they get away with it.
and to be fair, DC kind of had to deal with that for a little while the Nationals were in town before Nats Park was built.
Mm.
Not to the same extent because it was such a much larger. It was the weird era of U.S. sports stadiums where they built these gigantic Coliseum-esque stadiums to
Yep.
put rectangle sport field and diamond sport field right in the middle of, so that
Okay.
nobody on the ends could really see what was going on to begin with if you were down low enough. But that's where the bouncing stands at RFK came from,
Yep.
because they retracted and they came out for baseball and
Nice.
football. Yeah.
Nice. That we needed that. It's disappointing we don't have something similar. No bounciness at Audi. We need some bounciness.
I it's not the same,
It's
right?
not the same.
You could get inches of air on the stands at RFK, which you cannot get at Audi. But I will say that supporters section does move a bit
Yeah.
when we're rocking, when it's a packed house, when it's jumping, when DC's playing great, you feel it when people are moving on it. It's not the same bounce, right?
Yeah.
You're never going to get that because
No.
that's a code violation at this point.
It's massive health and safety.
That's dangerous. Yeah.
Yes.
But it moves. It moves.
Yeah. And
Yep.
I've not obviously been since 2019, but since then they've had the new sort of railings put in and things like
Yes. Yes.
that. How much of an improvement has that been?
So much. It's so much, cuz with the old stands with the benches, right?
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, I attend pretty much every home game at this point. I'm in the supporter section pretty much every
Yes.
home game. I have spent
I think there's
one
something
event
we know
at
you
Audi
from
Field.
recently. Is
Yeah.
that
The two
tifo that you
pole.
did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've spent a lot of time both before the safe standing and after the safe standing, and it is a completely different experience. It's so much easier. There's actual space to stand on the aisle and in the rows now, and the railings go up high enough where you don't feel like if you miss a step walking forward, you're gonna fall down 4 rows. It's so much nicer. And I saw that England might be trialing it in some of their stadiums as well.
Yes.
And it's so beyond due. It,
Yeah.
I get it, the hesitancy to move on with supporters culture after Hillsborough, because that is such a tragedy and
Yeah.
it's horrible. But safe standing works, and it helps prevent issues like that. So
Yeah.
the only complaint I have is it's not the cool safe standing that has seats built into the rails, but it's good. It's so much nicer, and it's ours. Like that's the more important thing. It's
Yes. Yeah, that's it. I'm glad it's improved because it was I felt like when I was there last time, my shins were going to get broken. I think that was it. I think
You
that
don't
was the
get that
best way
anymore.
of putting it.
No, yeah, no,
Yeah.
no. You're
Good.
not going to get that anymore. Nope.
That's
Because
awesome.
the railing goes up almost on me, not on you, of course, because
Of
you're
course.
gigantic.
Yeah.
But it's a solid up. Like no one can push me over that railing unless they're really trying.
Ooh.
And also, it's great to stand on. Like you can
Yeah.
actually get up and get leverage on it, which is nice.
Yeah. Yeah, you can, and I'm guessing you'd be able to lean properly on it and not have to worry
Yes.
about
Yep.
things like
Nope.
that. So
Nothing. There's no flex. There's nothing. I have not had any problems with it.
cool. That's good. Next thing up on the agenda of news, Lasada did his the club did their pre-match press conference yesterday. And Lasada was quoted as saying that the playoff is in our hands because, as we know, we're currently sat outside of the playoffs with 9 games to go, and we've still got Orlando, Nashville, and NYCFC yet to play. So he's definitely right there. The fact that it is in our hands, we've got playing teams that are around us.
Only at the moment 1 point out too. So it's
Yeah,
not even.
it's not
Yeah.
it's not like we're really expecting other teams to get points in multiple games. It's the fact that we're only 1 point out. By the end of the weekend, we could be straight back in there and thinking, "Oh,
That's the best part about the East. That is the best part
Yeah,
about the Eastern Conference this year. Is it's I'd say it's the Wild West, but it's the East Coast. So, every week it's like you could move up 4 spots, you could move down 4 spots. You're not touching the bottom
yeah.
2,
No,
but
oh no,
you're not touching the bottom 2, but you can move up or you can move down. So
yeah,
it'll be fun to see how this all shakes out.
yeah." And I think this season, for the first time in a while, that I think the East is much stronger than the West as well.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
The issue is the East is more competitive, right? They're all closer together.
Yeah.
But there hasn't been the same amount of, is it intra-conference play?
Yes.
Or inter-conference play?
Yeah.
Like we haven't played, I think we played 1, maybe 2 Western Conference teams all year. And one of them was the San Jose game. So
I think
I
that's
don't
the
count
only
that.
one, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think we've got
if you kick off after 10 p.m., it doesn't count in my mind. It was after Chris Seitz's bedtime, so it doesn't count. But yeah, because there hasn't been that, it's hard to tell. It's hard to gauge, and we're not going to see that until MLS Cup. And it's probably going to be New England, Seattle. So we'll see.
Yeah,
but
we'll see. You never know.
I see there's a question in the chat though about whether or not we can get up into that top 4 and get a home playoff game. Yeah. I don't know if we can, but I know that we need to. We need the home playoff game if we want to make a run. We need that home playoff game. We're not that far out of it. That 4th spot is a home game. If we can get up to 4, that's a home game, and that's not that out of the question.
Not at all.
But our home record versus our road record shows we need a home game. We're 5th in the East when we're at home. We're 10th away. Our goal differential is plus 13 at home, minus 8 away. Okay?
Yeah. I bear in mind there was that game against Nashville where we dropped
the Nashville game. The Nashville game where we lost 5-2, and the San Jose game that I said doesn't count, where we lost like 4-1.
Yeah,
those are the 2 games that have really hindered that. And then you look at the other side where we've got like the 3-0 against Chicago, the 7-1 against 7-1, 7-1 against Toronto, and then all the other wins we've accumulated at home. But our home record, we've turned Audi Field into a fortress at this point. It's hard to get points off us at home.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we've not even drawn a game at home, which is fantastic. That's what I love. I love the fact that we've been entertained throughout the season.
Yeah, it's ride or die, I guess, at home these days. And it's great. I love it. I'll be honest. It's such a change of pace that it's so nice and so well deserved. The people who have been supporting since day one, not me, a hands up, not me, but the people who lived through the entire Olsen era deserve all of this and all the accolades that are to come. Because this isn't the end. This is just the beginning.
Yeah, it is.
And
I feel like we're on page 1 of this Lasada era right now.
Yep.
That's it. It's page 1. We're in the intro. We're not even into page 1 yet.
No. And it's good thing. The good thing is we have 6 of our last 9 at home.
Yes, that's
so 2/3 of our remaining games are at home. So that's great for our chances at getting that home playoff spot. I'm not saying playoffs. I'm not saying home playoff spot. I don't want to jinx anything at this point.
No.
But there are indicators that show, 1, we need the home game if we want to make a run. And 2, it's there for the taking, and that's why Losada's saying it's in our hands, right?
Yes.
And I'll be honest, our away games, we need to get points, and we have some tough opposition away. Orlando
Yes.
and NYCFC away are going to be tough games. Granted, it's NYCFC at Red Bull Arena, so we don't have to deal with the crappy field.
Crap.
Although
Yep.
I think DC would actually be suited to play on a smaller field like Yankee Stadium
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
because of how we play.
Yeah.
I mean, it's why Audi Field got shortened this year. They shortened it by like 3 yards because we want to
Yes,
play
we did.
high
Yeah.
tempo pressing. So
Yeah.
that narrower, shorter Yankee Stadium field would probably do better.
Yeah.
But we got to play Red Bull Arena again. And I'm not traveling to that one because the last time I traveled to see that, I was not. I heart ripped out. So
yes, it was frustrating, that one. But no, it's I think we've stand a good chance of picking up many points still, and I'm excited to see what these last 9 games, excuse me, are going to bring. Other little comments that have come through on the chat that you will have seen, Angus, is this one here. Is Tom just saying he's going to have to step up his facial hair game if he's going to compete with you, and plus he's loving your banners behind you. Feel free to have a little talk about those.
Yeah, the scarves. I collected a couple over the years I've been supporting. All these are pretty recent, actually. Apart from the Farewell to RFK one, I got at a thrift store, which is just awesome, right?
What?
Yeah, my girlfriend found it for me at a thrift store. She aced it. Her thrift store finds for DC United have been amazing.
Nice.
Autographed Christian Gomez jersey for like $3. I'm not joking. I'm not.
What?
I will tweet a picture of it after the stream.
Jeez.
I'm not joking. But yeah, what it is it's just a metal. It's just a piece of metal that's been attached to the wall, and then I use fridge magnet like clips to like hold up the scarves, and then the scarf above it hides the clip from the scarf below. So
yes. So I can see you've got. I can't quite make out the one at the top, but I see you've got the Vamos Palmas one.
Yeah. So above it here, I'll just adjust my camera. I've got my U.S. men's like the national team scarves. So I've got one from another thrift store find, which is I forget when, but it's a scarf from one of the World Cups. I believe it's paying homage to the South Korean World Cup.
Yeah.
And then above that is my DC 26.
Yes.
The bid for the World Cup hosting in 2026.
Yes.
I actually won that in the contest, so they sent me that one for free.
Nice. Can't argue with that.
Nope. And then next to it, obviously, I have my Ben Olsen painting, so I got to flex that one.
Of course you do. Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't want to flex that? Because
no. It was a great afternoon. I got to go pick it up from him and talk to him for about a half hour.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's such a lovely guy as well to talk to.
He's such a good guy.
Yeah.
I don't want to go down the spirit rabbit hole right now, but
no,
nice guy. We're leaving it at that.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I obviously had him on the show last year, which was last year. Yeah, it was last year. That was my first ever live show that I'd done. So I was testing it, and I did it with Ben Olsen. That was a pretty good show. So that was season 2, episode 8. So if you do want to go and check that out, feel free to. So Rithik is just saying about hoping to go to the game against Nashville at home. That should be a pretty good one.
I'll be at that one. I'll be there. Yeah, I'll be there.
So give Angus a little shout. Tom is just coming up and saying, am I going to give my respect to Alfaro?
Not on Saturday.
Nope.
He's out with yellow card accumulation, so he's not playing on Saturday.
So he's not fantastic. He's got himself suspended, but
he is statistically like our 4th out of the 7 center backs, because we got to throw Andy as a center back now. He's like the 4th or 5th center back on the depth chart, statistically speaking. Brendan Heinzike, Donovan Pine, Steve Birnbaum all have had weird seasons with injury.
Yeah.
So it's hard to give them anything. But the consistent ones being Briant Nahar, and Alfaro have been good. They've been solid.
My biggest problem with Alfaro is he's very prone to going too far up the pitch when we don't need it, when he needs to be staying back. And there's been a couple of times when that's cost us goals. And that's my always worry about him is when we're
the
defending.
Joseph
He does
Martinez
that.
goal. The Joseph Martinez goal, not last week, but a couple of weeks before when they played the home leg of that kind of weird of the schedule when they were at Audi was Alfaro, because he was,
Yeah.
I don't know if he was trying to catch Joseph offside, but if he had given him that step, he would have been able to sort it out anyways.
Yes. Yeah, it's one of he's
His
very
passing
prone
hasn't
to
been
his.
great either,
No.
because he loves to throw that long ball forward, and when you're chucking it up on his side normally to like Flores or Reyna, they're not really going to win that because they're so small.
No. Yeah. It needs to be to either
On the
Gressel
ground.
or Kamara.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it that way.
Yeah.
Because Kamara is not the biggest guy, but he's actually decent in the air. He gets that
he's
flick
good
on quite
in the air.
nice.
He's good at moving himself around and getting into those spots.
Yeah.
You know, that's obvious, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at how many goals he scored this season. Who'd have thought that after last year?
Not me.
No one. I don't think anyone has needed that.
I thought Sorga would be getting more minutes than Kamara would be.
Yeah,
I'm going to be honest. That was my take at the beginning of the year. I thought that was going to be and you know, into the first month of the season, I was right, because Sorga was getting consistent game time. So
yeah, he was. But no, it's
Kamara's
come on well, and
great piece.
Not look
great
back.
Piece in the Washington Post. Great interview in the Washington Post recently with Stephen Goff. If you haven't read that, go check it out. If you don't have a Washington Post subscription, go on mobile and click reader view, and it gets rid of all the things that say you can't read it. So, although don't do that. Don't do that. Never do that. I advise against that.
Yes.
Piracy is bad.
It is very bad. It means
very
that people don't get paid for what they should be getting paid for.
Exactly.
Yes. And then you just cancel the Athletic and then wait for the offer to come up where it's £10 for a year.
I keep my Athletic subscription up. I like Pablo. I got to support my guy.
It's just it's one of those things where over here we're so used to having that kind of content just being readily available. It's very weird to pay for that kind of thing. So I'm still a little bit unsure on whether to do those kind of things. But when it's like £10 for a year, I think I can live with that. I can live with that.
No, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. Just run through some of the comments about our conversation about Alfaro there. So him not being great on Saturday. Awful is a word that's been used. Tom's just saying he wasn't great on Saturday, but he has been decent with the fact that we've had these injuries.
He's been incredibly solid depth, which is what we weren't expecting from him, to be honest. Coming from a USL background and
deadline day signing as well.
No, I don't know if it was deadline day, but it was definitely one of those like under the radar signings. Yeah. Like, we got this guy. Same with Perez, to be honest.
Yes.
We got this guy. Although Perez was re-entry draft, but you know, people still forgot about him.
Yeah.
So
he was fantastic. It's a shame that he's had to have a screw put in his foot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's too bad for him. Early December is his recovery date, earliest window. So we don't get him. I believe so. Although I'll say this, we're getting towards October, and you know who's due back in October is Brendan Heinz-Eyck.
Yes.
He's been running on the treadmill recently.
Yeah, I saw him.
Follow him on Instagram.
Yeah, I saw the video with because they were doing that sort of air thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's the zero gravity treadmill. Yeah, which is super awesome and amazing that we can produce zero gravity in literally half of your body.
It's weird. So if Ariola's used that, Felipe's used that.
Yeah, everyone who's had lower body injuries like that. I believe Fisher was using it when his knee exploded in 2018.
That was a horrendous injury.
Yeah. Played in the Gold Cup for Jamaica, and he's been getting, I think he's on the Galaxy now. He's been getting minutes.
Yeah.
It was a weird thing because I was watching the US-Jamaica Gold Cup game, and there was O'Neal Fisher, and I was like, oh, wow, I completely forgot about him, and I shouldn't have.
He's a decent player.
He was a great player in 2018.
Yeah. I love this comment. I'm just going to put this one up on the stream as well. David, speaking of low-cost subscriptions, James, could you remind those of us who've been with DC UK for more than a year that we should throw in some more cash for you? How would we do that? Well, there is a little way you can do that. There's a couple of ways you can support the show. If you head over to bio.link/DC United Kingdom, or if you do want to come and join us over at DC UK, head over to dcunitedkingdom.com/membership. So there's a couple of ways you can do it. If you hit that buy or link one, though, that'll take you to merchandise and things like that where you can pick up lovely t-shirts, flags, which I do need to sort out, Angus.
Yes, send
Yes,
me
I
one.
haven't, I
It'll
haven't
get put
forgot
up in
it.
the stands.
We'll put it
It'll
up in
be
the
in the stands
stands.
when it's up. When I get it, it'll be up in the stands.
Look
If
at
not
that.
this year, then next year.
Yes,
So.
we'll get it there. We'll get it there. Anyway, back to news, because somehow we still haven't finished the news section. Hernan, if you missed his
You would have, because it's
AMA,
off Instagram now because there was a story. Yeah.
but
Oh, what a great.
they did tweet it.
They
did
well they tweeted that they did tweet this
the
bit.
video.
This bit is on Twitter. The rest of
Yes.
it is not. There were some great little pieces in there.
Yes. So what I want to know in the chat right now is, do you like pineapple on a pizza? That is the
debate.
question. It is an age-old question. I'm for it.
I personally don't like it.
Yeah.
It's not my taste, but I'm not going to go out of my way to tell someone that what they should or should not put on their pizza. Yeah. I feel like that is anti-American of me to tell them what should and should not happen in a free country. I've had it on pizza. I think it's fine. It's not my go-to.
Yeah.
I'm not going out of my way to order Hawaiian.
Yes.
But
for me,
if it's there, I might have a slice.
Yeah. I mean, I like the juiciness. I like the sweetness that it brings. It counteracts some spiciness sometimes. I did love Fernand's comment about it, the fact that he's half Italian, so he shouldn't like it, but he does. So
didn't know he was half Italian, but it makes sense now.
It does, yes. Oh, Rithik isn't a pineapple on a pizza kind of person, and Tom, not everyone has to be. That's what makes debates fun. And
this is an entire. We could do an entire off-season show on this.
Yeah, I mean, Tom's just said we could have a 24-hour
debate. Yeah,
absolutely.
You're right.
And
in that time, we'll order it and we'll have a taste test. And
yes. I mean,
that was from
my local
Q&A.
pizzeria.
Yeah,
it's questionable.
Well, that's because you're getting pizza from England.
Oh, what are you trying to say?
I'm just trying to say that the people who revolutionized it, there is no English style pizza.
There really isn't.
There is New York, there is Chicago, there is Detroit. I don't hear Bristol in there. Where's Birmingham style pizza? I don't hear that.
No, it's true. We don't have our own style pizza. But then, if we were going to do it, it would have to be Yorkshire pudding on a pizza, maybe. It would have to consist of gravy or fish and chips.
Are we calling it British or English? Because if it's British, then we need to deep fry it for the Scottish people as well.
Oh, I'll put some haggis on it
to get battered and fried.
Haggis, black pudding. Oh yes, now we're talking. I can get into this one. Get into a British pizza. Get some leek on there for the Welsh. And if we're going to allow the Irish in there, we need some potato on there.
Well, the Northern Irish, the Southerns, the Irish Republic. We're not going to include them. They earned their independence.
Yeah, true. Let's have a look. So Victor says pineapple belongs on a pizza. David loves pineapple on pizza with hot chili peppers. So you get that counteracting there.
Understandable.
Tom's just said English pizza is crap, but I swear the KFC is better there than it is here.
Oh yeah, 100%. Most of the ingredients in food are probably better there. I mean, come on. I was in Paris and Belgium and stuff like that, and yeah, the food is just better across the pond because y'all don't process everything.
It's true. Yeah, we don't.
That's everything. What it is.
Yeah, it's very true.
Is it maybe because y'all are so much smaller and you don't have to transport things halfway across the country like we do? Probably. Is that better? Yeah, it is. But hey, that's how we do it here.
It is how you do it. Right, moving on from the food debate. Reino and Flores announced earlier on today that they've been called up for international duty for the Peruvian squad.
Big games.
Yeah, so they're missing 2 games. They're missing Orlando and Nashville.
Both important games. 2 and 3 in the standings currently as they sit.
Yep.
Nashville coming off. Not Nashville will have played a game this weekend, but they thrashed Miami this midweek.
Yeah.
Thrashed them.
I mean, to be
Perfect
honest,
for
it's
us. That's
Miami.
exact. Yeah, well, that's what they need. We want that because
Yeah.
Miami is like right behind us or like right ahead of us
Yes.
in the playoff race.
Exactly.
So they're in that 4-point swing right now. So the more they can get the crap beaten out of them, the better. Which is hilarious because DC has like a +5 total goal difference right now, and they've got and Miami has a -15, and they're like breathing down our necks.
Yeah.
I love MLS, man.
it's a great league for all these twists and turns and inconsistencies.
It's called competition and league parity. That's what the salary cap is for.
It
people
throws
complain
a
about it, but we're reaping the benefits of a salary cap right now.
Yeah, it's entertainment on a full league level. So
yes, anyone can win on any given match day.
Yeah, I was actually talking to someone earlier today at work, believe it or not, about MLS, and this guy didn't really know much about it, but we were talking about actually the salary cap and how it brings the full entertainment, the fact that anyone can win it. There's no consistency in terms of the winners. So you look at Columbus last year, who won it, and then you look at them right now,
or just barely in the playoffs right now. They're the people right above us.
It's such a wonderful league for things like Toronto, winners in the last decade.
So if you look at the realignment of the British pyramid, right, and the Premier League came in 90s, same time MLS started up. So there's a really good comparison there. Yeah. In that time, 7 different teams have won the Premier League, right?
Yep.
And the only 2 outside of the big 6 are Blackburn and Leicester.
Yes.
Right? And in MLS, there is no real big 6. You can go big 6 based on markets, which is what MLS media will do, and it's annoying. But there's no real big 6 in dynasties. But 16 out of the 26 teams in MLS have won MLS Cup.
Just goes to show.
That's crazy.
Doesn't it?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's fantastic.
And as long as the Red Bulls never win, I'll be ecstatic.
Yes. I mean, the fact that they forget that they were the Metro Stars before and they don't call that the same team is just beyond me.
They've had the most World Cup winners out of any MLS franchise to play for their squad, and they have won 2 Supporters Shields in that time. That's it.
Yes. Look at that. That's something you've got to be not proud about. Anyway, you are big on this next one. Kamara.
Yep. Kamara, team of the week.
Team of the week
22.
On foot 22.
Cashed in my 10 hours of EA access. Got my early access. I've got him. I've got Kamara in my team. In the 20-something games I've played with him so far. Or no. He's got 21 goals in 17 games and 10 assists.
Nice.
This card is a monster. I love it. I love this card. I'll be playing with it for the rest of this game cycle. Until I decide to quit and play career mode because the patch will come through and the gameplay will just get crap. But before that, I'm enjoying it. The game is fun. Kamara getting a special card right out the gate is great. Hopefully, our EMLS player, King, is it King Mo? I think is his
King CJO. I think
King CJO. That's what it is. Hopefully he gets a nice special card to put right into the team.
Yeah.
I don't know if EMLS requires an actual player from your club or not, but hopefully he's on the bench at least. So
yeah, absolutely.
Good for DC as a whole because it's on the front when you load up Ultimate Team. They got the team of the week right there on the screen, and you could see Ola Kamara in the bottom row. So it's good for league. It's good for the league. It's good for us as a club because people see it now.
Yes, I love this little comment that's just come in there. 5,000% Kamara to the moon. Yes,
always. We're gonna ride him. We're gonna ride him till we're not.
That hype train just keeps on chugging along. It's great.
I hear about this kid Ricardo Pepi who's also got a train, but it ain't nowhere near Kamara's.
No, Kamara is so far ahead. It is untrue. Right, we probably should talk about some games because this is what this podcast is mainly about. It's actually the actual soccer. Nearly called it football, but it's American.
So I don't have a problem with it.
No, got to keep it right. So obviously, the last game we got was against Atlanta. As always, I'll run through the stats quite quickly, just so we know where we were on paper. Anyway, so it was obviously 3-2. Possession-wise, it was 61.5% to 38.5%. Shots was quite close. It was 16-13. On target, very, very close, 6-5. Offsides, 1 apiece. Fouls, 8-25. A bit one-sided, but we will talk about that in a moment. And then expected goals was 3.5 to 1.5. So on that side of things, the result is right. But the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that referee that we had was appalling, to say the
Triple
least.
the fouls on DC. 3 times more fouls called against DC than Atlanta.
How is that? It
I
just doesn't ring
was,
true.
I was, yeah, I was flabbergasted. I was watching the TV and I was watching what was happening, and I put the second goal on Gressel as a glorified own goal, but I put that third goal on the referee because if DC, because every time DC
Yeah.
touched an Atlanta player, it was a foul,
Umph.
and so that's what gives Arujo the space to dribble like that because
Yeah.
DC doesn't know what's a foul and what isn't anymore.
And we've had
Because
players
there
on
were
yellow
there were
cards
times where they
and
could have slid in and made a challenge, and
yeah.
that challenge probably would have been a second yellow for any of the half of the team
Yeah.
who had the issue. Yeah, and looking at the chat too, it's like the
Yeah.
consistency in VAR was not
Yeah.
there, and that's been the case all year. And the last time we played Atlanta, right, there
Yeah.
was the very close call between Joseph and that offsides line that didn't go to VAR. And looking back at it, that was the right decision. It was a good goal, right? But the lack of accountability by refs to just go over and check, that's
Yeah.
all we're asking for.
Yeah.
That's why the system's in place.
Exactly.
Because if the fourth official is now dictating the flow of the game entirely, that's not fair.
Yeah. To
That
me,
the whole point of our VAR system is so that the center judge is making the calls and makes all of the calls. So the
yeah.
game is consistently refed by the same individual. And
Yeah.
when you don't go and look at the screen, you're not getting that.
Yeah. Exactly. Rithik, first goal was never a free kick. Yeah.
Look.
I mean, nothing against
Donovan
the goal.
Pines got a foul called on him because he is 6'5"
Yes.
and twice the size of George Bello. I'm sure you experienced this growing up playing sports.
Yes.
The big boy penalty is a real thing. I was taller. I was on the larger side of individuals playing hockey growing up, right? And then everybody grew up around me, right? You find yourself in situations where you're not doing anything. Both him and Bello were. It's in NFL terms, because I know that there's some American audiences.
Yeah.
In the NFL, that was hand fighting, and a pass interference got called. You got to let the guys play at some point. We're over halfway through the season. At some point, you got to put the whistle away and let the boys play at that point. Sure, Donovan Pines probably shouldn't have been doing that as a center back, but what is he supposed to do in that situation? Is he supposed to just let Bello go through on goal? No.
Yeah.
Right? Were we all thinking that Barco was going to put it in an unsavable position from the free kick? No. He didn't get booked. He didn't get sent off.
Yeah.
I don't know what you could have done better there. The foul was questionable. But you can't not... The way Bello got flung was because he was holding on to Donovan Pines' jersey.
Yes.
So I don't know. Yeah, whatever.
It was 6 and 2 threes. They were both at it.
Kevin Paredes got a body check to the face.
Yep.
I play hockey on Friday nights. I did the same thing to a guy and I got a penalty. But
yeah,
that's not right.
It really isn't. And it's just this is the same ref that we had when the previous season he allowed Russell Knaus to come on the pitch when he wasn't even on the game day roster.
Yes.
And he didn't know what to do.
Yeah, well, that's because...
I mean, granted, it was a bit of an unusual situation, but...
There's an officiating crisis amongst the entire North American soccer pyramid. You look at any league, and there's an issue with refereeing at this point. And, I mean, you could say the same for England and all over the world, but it's incredibly bad here in the States. Difference between one ref to another can make or break a game. You look back at 2012 when Bill Hamid gets sent off and the penalty had to be retaken because of encroachment. You look at the interviews and the oral histories, speaking of Pablo Maurer again, right? Bill said in that that referee likes to make himself the center of attention. He
Yeah.
likes to make himself the game. And if you can have an official that can do that, that's not cool. No one likes Ted Uncle. No one wants him reffing their games.
No.
So why do we keep allowing Ted Uncles to ref? Why can't we
Yeah.
implement more training, more rigorous? I don't know. I don't know how to fix it, but something needs to be changed.
What makes it even worse is the fact that the head of pro referee is Howard Webb, one of the most respected referees in the English game. Yet the
He's allowing this to go
refereeing,
on.
it just it baffles me as to why this happens. And to me, it's just like how do we solve it? Do we get former players in as refs? Do we get those kind of guys trained up to be the next generation of referees, or is it a case of just wiping the slate clean and do complete new fresh training? I don't know how we go about it, but
I don't got an answer either, man.
yeah,
It's a tough one.
Yeah. If you guys out there know an answer on how to fix the refereeing crisis that we have pretty much globally,
we
do
could
let
talk
us know.
about. We could talk about. This is another off-season pod. We're gonna have some
Exactly.
great content.
This is
this
probably
offseason.
another 24-hour debate.
Right.
Yeah. Then in that game, there was the battle between Hamid and Martinez. There was that moment where Hamid made the diving save to his left.
Yes.
And you just saw them, they just gave each other a high five. And I thought that was such a
Game
lovely
recognized
moment.
game.
Exactly. It was awesome to see that. And it was good sportsmanship. That's what I liked. I love this comment that's just come in.
To go back on the ref thing, I just saw this in the chat box. Kevin and I have talked about this before on other channels and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. I have watched European and Australian rugby.
Yes.
And what they do is fantastic. The TV viewing experience during a replay in those leagues it's a chef's kiss.
Yeah.
I've just everything.
I've just watched a rugby game before we went live. So the local team for me, Gloucester, they were playing tonight against Leicester Tigers, and you hear every word what the TV ref is saying. You hear everything that's been said on the pitch. The players, that's the bit that you got to tackle. That's the big challenge. Just in football, soccer, footballers, they don't generally have the respect for the referees like they do in rugby.
No. Well, that's because there's not the same. I don't know. There's not the same rules, and there's not the same enforcement of those rules. And I guess the rules are probably there. Yeah. But in rugby, because I played for a bit, my dad played at a very high level for the U.S. at the time when he was a player in the 80s and 90s. At the time, and still, if you say anything wrong to a ref, if you complain about a call too much, if you make a gesture, if you look at a ref wrong, you could get thrown out of the game.
Yep.
Like that. Not even a warning, just red card, you're gone. Go or yellow card, have a seat in the sin bin, right? Yep. Like that's the deal.
Yeah. It's a great way of keeping the lid on things. Things don't boil over.
Nope.
Everyone respects everything.
And when they do, they boil over between players. The ref comes in, sorts it out, and everybody's fine with it.
Everybody shakes hands.
Yeah.
And that's it. And for those of you out there who aren't familiar with rugby, it's a fantastic sport. It seems to be it's getting bigger.
Old Glory, Washington D.C. That is
Major
the
League
area's
rugby.
Major League Rugby team. Yeah. They play out in Segra. In Loudoun County. So
go
if you want to make it to a game, go to a game.
And
great game coming up. Actually, the men's national team is playing the All Blacks in a couple weeks in October 23rd at FedEx Field.
Nice.
I will be going to that game.
Go to that.
Yes. If you could get tickets, go. You'll see the haka. It'll be like the coolest rugby experience you can ever get to start off your rugby
Have you ever seen the haka
career? Yeah.
I loved it. I went to Wembley to the World Cup back in 2015 over here.
Oh, lucky.
And I mean, granted, I was 3 rows from the back, but the whole stadium went silent when the haka happened, and you could hear every single word that was being said. It was unbelievable.
I want to see a challenge. I want to see a Haka challenge. For those who don't know what that is, we're not going to delve too much on that, but I want
No,
to see it happen. I want to see one live. I think that would be the coolest thing to see live.
yes,
It is
absolutely.
disrespect to a whole nother level, but oh my god, do I want to be in the building for that?
Yes. Oh, it would be
Yeah,
amazing.
I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it.
There is a video that people should go and watch if you want to see great refereeing. Just search for this guy called Nigel Owens. He is such a brilliant referee. He's Welsh, he's small, but my word, players respect the hell out of him. And there's a moment where there's 15 players on a rugby pitch, and he's got all 30 players to come in and just say, "Look, guys, I'm not having any of that. If this happens again, you're getting sent off. No, we're not playing soccer, are we?" And then everybody goes away. It is hilarious.
He's the equivalent of, for all of you for the American sports fans, he's the equivalent of like an Ed Hockley in the NFL or a Wes McCauley in the NHL. He's like that kind of level.
Okay.
Like the anti Ted Uncle, to bring it back to MLS. The anti Ted Uncle. Yeah.
Yeah. If he could have refed in football, we would be talking about refereeing in such a different light. Let's put it that way. A big question I had on here about the Atlanta game is, where was Nahar? I mean, in my eyes, I thought he wouldn't have played because he was because it was on fake grass. So, and his knees and things, I'd have expected him not to play. But it was said in the pre-match that he was available. I don't know what happened there. And then the other thing for that game was the Golazzos. The amount of great goals in that game was just unbelievable. It was just fantastic. You had the Barco goal, you had Felipe's goal, you had Flores' goal.
And all the respect to Felipe, man.
Yes.
If anyone on this team deserved deserved a wonder strike like that, it was Felipe Martins, man. Coming back from his ACL, and hopefully Flores, his strike gets the confidence going, gets the boys buzzing, and he starts to hit his form, because man, does he has some moments.
Yeah, he really
and that's
does.
why I can't give up on him. You know what I mean? Because he does things like he did. You do things like that, you get those moments, and it's just fantastic.
Yeah, it's awesome. So hopefully that'll keep going. Just a couple of things. Nahar still questionable for tomorrow, which I did see.
Yes. Nahar and Reina are both questionable.
Yes.
Do we want to do the full injury report now? Because there's an added person to the out list that's kind of important.
I was going to say, let's move on to this weekend's fixture. I'll just run through a couple of little things about it before we do go on to that injury list. So, yes, we are playing Cincinnati tomorrow. Eastern time, 7:38 p.m. kickoff. Over here, on this side of the pond in the UK, it is at 38 minutes past midnight. For Emma in Belgium, that's 1:38. In Turkey, that is 2:38 a.m. And on the West Coast, that is 5:38. Just to cover all the time zones that are in the DC UK group.
I'm gonna give my little time zone kerfuffle story, because 2019 season, I was in Belgium for a little bit. That was like the last time I actually missed a game, was actually the FCC game where Rooney had a brace. I was in Paris and I didn't want to watch the game because I wanted to spend time with my girlfriend in Paris. Sue me, right?
Yes.
So I was in Belgium and I was looking at the schedule and the scores, and I didn't realize that the app auto adjusts to whatever time zone you're in. And so I thought that I had tickets to the supposed Rooney Zlatan matchup that never actually happened.
Yeah.
Right. And it was obviously nationally televised game, all those stuff. Back in the day when DC had like 4, because we had Wayne Rooney. Back in the day, 2019. Ooh. But I thought that they had flexed it from the 7 or 8 o'clock kickoff to the 1 to 2 p.m. kickoff. And I didn't realize that it was actually 1 or 2 a.m. because I was in the Belgian time zone at the time. I got so worried because I had things. I was like, no. Like it was like a Friday night game, and then they pushed it to like Saturday afternoon, and I was like, "This is horrible. Why would they do this?" Because I couldn't go if it was on the Saturday. I had other things on that
Yes.
Saturday, and I was like, "Oh," but it was just a time zone thing. I looked
Yeah.
real stupid about 15 minutes after I got really up in arms over nothing.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice. It's nice for me that they automatically do it because then I don't have to work
Yeah,
things out. But yeah,
yeah. It's I've experienced the grind. I watched one game late at night. I
yeah,
think it was an Atlanta game at Mercedes. So
yes,
we lost, I believe, or we drew, something like that.
yeah,
But it was 2019. There were a lot of losses and draws. And somehow we made it into the playoffs.
yeah. I don't know how that actually happened, but hey ho. Yes, the grind is real. Let's put it that way for us over here in Europe.
I
Um,
respect it.
I don't know how we do it. I really don't know how we do it. Coffee, I think, is the big thing.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yes. Right. So yeah. So those are the times that we're kicking off around the world. It is live on dcnight.com, NBC Sports Washington, and for us over here in the UK, it's on Free Sports. So it's on free to air TV, which is awesome. It is national as well, so it's not as if it's a local thing. So if you've got free view, or if you go on to freespots.tv, you can actually watch it online for free as well. And it will be the when they do it on that channel, they always use the home team's feed. So it will be Dave Johnson on our TV
Hopefully, you'll
screens.
get to hear it's in the net
Oh,
multiple times.
I think we will be all right on that one. I think there will be a few goals in this one. Generally speaking,
I
though,
do too.
it's not a tie that usually has a lot of goals. Um,
4-1, I think, is the largest.
it is the
And I
line
think that was
that was the
2019.
first game between the two sides.
That was the
Actually, no,
game I
sorry,
missed.
the
That was
second
the game
game.
I missed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had a friendly in the start of that
At
season.
Nippert Stadium.
Yes, that was a really nice stadium. That one, but then their new one
One of the oldest active stadium in MLS when it was being used because it was
was
built
it.
in 1912. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
there you go.
It's the Cincinnati Bearcats, the college football stadium.
Oh, there you go. You come for the soccer,
It's
you
just
stay
sports
for the
history
facts.
for the episode. Yeah,
Yes. So yeah, so there's been 6 ties between the two sides. We've won 2 when we've drawn 4. And we've scored 7 and conceded 3. So there's only been 10 goals in 6 games. So they're not really high scoring apart from that 4-1, which goes to show
two
that
zero
is,
zero draws. One
yeah,
being, I think, Losada's first. No, the Montreal game was his first 0-0. It's the
yes,
second 0-0 of his entire coaching career.
I know. I love that fact.
That's a great stat.
That was a great start until it ruined it.
Until it wasn't, until it was no
Yes.
longer a stat. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so the new injury report. Who is the new guy on our injury list?
Wanchope is out.
Yes.
He's injured. We don't know why. No idea. Because Losada was very to his chest with the injuries yesterday and his press availability. Another notable on the questionable list is Drew Skundridge,
Yeah.
seeing as he seems to be loved by Losada, and rightfully so. Guy plays his butt off week in and week out. He's earned his
Yeah.
playing time. And the group seems to like him as well. I remember the uproar from his teammates when he finally got called up, because I believe he was that last guy sent down or that last guy cut in training camp.
Yeah.
So him getting called up really, I think, bolstered a lot of the team's spirits, and he seems like a great guy.
Yeah.
So I hope all of our questionables are on the bench. I don't
Yeah.
I don't wish any injuries on anyone.
Well, no, you
But
wouldn't.
my prediction comes down to the questionables. I'll be
Yes.
honest.
And I think Roberta is still a questionable for however long it's
as
been.
always.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I understand it. Maybe we'll see him on the bench this time because of Wanchope being out.
Yeah.
I think him coming into the fold and playing as well as he has kind of allowed DC to keep Roberta recovering, making sure that he's good to go, because he had he had a surgery like last year, the year before we brought him in, and then there was an injury issue, and all the aggravations similar to what we're seeing with Paul right now.
Yeah.
And which side of the street do you want to walk on? Do we want our DP playing, which makes sense? We should have him playing, Or do we
Yes,
want our young 23-year-old, 24-year-old striker who we don't necessarily have a full evaluation on, and it's not really fair to him if our full evaluation is on him at 75%.
exactly. Yeah,
So
I'm happy for him to just take his time and just make sure he's fully fit
yeah,
because
and if we
it-
if seeing and we'll see how the offseason shakes out. I could see him being the starter next year. No,
yeah,
no questions.
yeah,
Totally.
absolutely. I mean, unless Kamara just keeps on chugging
I
along.
don't know what his contract situation looks like because
No,
I don't know if we move on from him. I sell him at a high. I don't know.
yeah, that's it. We could do that. That's
It all depends on how well we have the ability to completely change our roster this year.
yeah,
This offseason, we have the ability to move on from like half the people that are currently rostered on the team.
yes, yeah, absolutely.
So I would expect with a brand new retooled front office, a brand new retooled coaching staff apart from Chad Ashton, um, to just be completely turnover ready. Like we're
Yeah,
gonna bring in new guys, we're gonna bring in fresh blood. We'll see. I don't know.
it reminds me of what could happen this year is what happened about 4 or 5 years ago, where we ended up with only 15 players at the
Yeah,
at the start of the off season, and then we had to really rebuild everything
yeah,
back
and I
up
think
from
I think
that.
we have the ability to move on from 16 players, so we could be down to like 14 because
Yeah,
there's a 30-man roster in MLS.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's an exciting time, and I'm glad that we've got the likes of Lucy Rushton in.
Yes.
I think she's going to be fantastic for us. You look at what
Yeah.
she did with Atlanta. You look at before that she was at Reading over here in the UK. She's done really good things where she's been. So it's certainly
Yeah.
an exciting time.
There's nothing to tell us that she's not going to do a fantastic job here.
Exactly. So it is awesome. Things to look out for against Cincinnati is obviously the big player, Lucho Acosta. We all know
Yeah.
about him, don't we?
Yep. The
Canales,
return.
he is returning. I'm surprised it's with Cincinnati, to be honest. I wasn't expecting that, but money talks. But Canales has said that he's looking forward to going up against them, especially as he missed the last game. It could be a good tight battle in that centre of midfield, especially if we really nullify him, because what will happen is Acosta, and you've probably noticed this when he played for DC, is if he's really not
Oh
getting
yeah.
into the game, he just drops deeper and
And
deeper
you see
and
that,
deeper.
and you're starting to see that more and more with FCC as well. It's weird. There's like a cycle of
Yeah,
Luciano Acosta. There's like a 2-year cycle, and for all that he did for DC, I thank him for that.
yeah,
2018, 20 that section where he was pre Rooney, where he was the guy. Thank you, and that magical Lucha Ruiz season. Thank you even more,
yeah,
right? But with how it all shook out in 2019, I'm happy we've parted ways. I don't necessarily want him back. I think that ship is sailed. I think that bridge is burned. Whatever analogy you want to use.
yeah,
And I think he's starting to get that happened in Atlas,
yeah.
and then he came back to MLS with Cincy, and you're starting to see it with Cincy because Cincy is bad,
Yes, they are horrendous. I don't know
and they
how
shouldn't
they've
be
managed to get that bad,
with
but
the
they are
talent
bad.
they've got. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I
Brenner
mean,
doesn't even have 2 goals.
Brett, what? Is he only
Yeah,
scored once?
Their leading scorer against like up till last week. I read a match preview for the Hell is Real derby from like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Their leading scorers were Kubo and Lokurdia, the Dutch forward
Yeah.
who they signed from Brighton, and they have 2 goals apiece. Each of them have two. I'll
Wow.
double check that. I'll run that back. But yeah, I don't think
That's
Brenner's been the player they hoped he would be.
yeah. Because they've probably looked at him on Football Manager and thought he's a great little player.
Well,
Um,
everybody thought he was a great player, and I think he
yeah, yeah,
still is. I just think he's in Cincinnati. And it's Yop Stam. You know,
yeah.
their coach is oh, if Olsen and him got together when he was a coach, oh my God, would we have been in for some horribly boring.
Oh, that would be pretty. I,
Oh no, I
I,
guess
I
I
don't
guess
think.
Brenner has I guess Brenner has he's got 7.
Okay.
So it's not been as bad as like last year
Yeah.
Cincinnati, which was bad.
I mean, yeah. I mean, since Cincinnati have been in MLS, they've been bad.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it shows why there is such a large skill gap between USL and MLS.
Yeah.
The
You can't
USL
just
teams
buy it, but
yeah.
you can buy your way into MLS, but you can't buy success.
You can't buy your wins. No.
No.
And that's the great part about the salary cap and the great part about competition in this league is that you can't just buy your wins. And did Atlanta buy a win from us last week? Probably. Not through the ref, not through officiating. I would never say that. But through their skilled players are much better than ours.
Yeah.
And that's likely because of Lucy Rushton and her being able to identify that talent.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe that's on the way for us.
Yeah. I mean, you look at Martinez, Barco, Bello,
Arujo coming off the bench.
Yeah. Marcelino Moreno.
Sosa in the back line. And they didn't even have their best. They didn't have Miles Robinson. They didn't even have their best center back.
No. So
it's a shame. They're a better team. They were a better team being held back by a bad coach. And that was the same situation for DC last year. And I'm not saying Ben Olsen is a bad coach. He just didn't fit the squad anymore.
Yeah. His time was up.
Yeah. The coach is the fourth DP in MLS is the coach. It straight up is. There's no cap on him. You can bring in whoever you want.
Yeah.
Just bring in a good coach and they can get leaps and bounds better progress out of players.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you look at Losada, but then you look at Orlando. They've brought in a great coach, Oscar Pereira, I think it is.
I believe so, yeah.
And
I mean, Atlanta's still a great thing of that. This year, they brought in Hines. He was bad. He was like Losada, but the dark timeline, right? He was running them to death.
He was that
no
Marvel
water breaks,
wasn't he?
Practice on off days. He was that guy.
Yeah.
And then they bring in Pineda, the guy who might have been our coach had we had not found Losada or however that shook out. I don't know. I'm not privy to that information. But yeah, he could have been our guy, and it looks like he's got him rejuvenated. Albeit, a lot of times that interim guy into the new guy, you get 1 to 2 seasons where the players are just like, heck yeah, Chad Ashton last year, perfect example of it.
Yes. Yeah.
The guy comes in, and it's like, let's go, we got our guy, and the players respond to him very well because they're used to the old guy, and they play well they get good results.
Yeah.
And 2-3 years down the line, they're just like, I lost the locker room, and that's it.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see what will happen with Pineda when they just get to their first bad run of form. How does he get them out of that? Does it just continue when he gets sacked, or is he able to turn around? That's always the big test of a manager is, can he get them through that rough patch? So, and you look at Losada, we did have a rough start, and especially with the injuries and the fact that we had so many players out, and we couldn't settle on a consistent lineup, and we couldn't fill out a bench. And then you look at us now, and it's just, I am so glad we have Losada.
We're in a very similar situation injury-wise. It's just we have a deeper roster in terms of numbers.
Yeah.
And we've got a playing style and identity that suits the players who are on the team and gets results.
Yeah.
And players want to play.
That's the big thing.
Nobody wants to play Yapstam ball. Everyone wants to play Losada ball.
Yeah. And again, I will just put out there, I coined that.
You did?
I did coin Losada ball back in the day. Oh, but right. Let's get some predictions done.
I think it'll be a fun game.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I think it'll be fun. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna have a good time as I usually do. It's going to be an interesting game. Yapstam loves to play Benny ball, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. That
park the bus and counterattack. And he's got players to do it. You know, Gayu is questionable. If he's on the field, that could spell problems for a DC United backline that maybe without Andy Nahar and and definitely not without Tony Alfaro. Because if we're starting Pines, Birnbaum, Briant, Pines is going to have to get moved around and basically shadow Acosta or Gayu or Brenner because they got speed. Again, it's the same issue that plagued us against Atlanta. They got speed on the counterattack because they'll sit back, 10 people behind the ball, crunched into the box,
Yeah.
and then they'll just as soon as they see the overload, they're gone. Because they got that speed and they can just react. And that's how they could steal a point tomorrow. That's how they'll do it. I don't think they'll win. But I wouldn't be surprised if we're starting a back line with the geriatric Fred Briant and the recovering Steve Birnbaum. I could see a 1-1 shithouse draw. I could see it because the second they get that goal, it's just
lockdown.
It's basically they're just gonna, instead of lining up for the kickoff like a traditional lineup, they'll just all pack into the box. And DC will just be like, what are we supposed to do with this?
Yeah.
Especially because a lot of our chances come from crosses. Gressel delivering in balls into the box is how we get a lot of our goals.
Yeah. And they've got the likes, I think it's Jeff Cameron there now as well. They've got Jeff Cameron and at the back.
Yes, I believe. Yes, they do. Yeah, they got the cold rainy night in Stoke.
Yes, they've got the big guys at the back, so it's going to be. It will be tough. I'm just going to put through a
reason why Juan Chope might actually be missed on Saturday because his ability to hold up play is great. Granted, he won't shoot the ball, but he'll get the goalie to go all the way to the other side of the net.
Yeah.
But he'll have a wide open shot. He just won't take it.
Oh, right. I'm going to put a couple of predictions up on screen. We have the first one, 4-0. Very optimistic there.
Yeah,
I think that's from Daniel. That one, from the sounds of it. I mean, I can't quite get it from the
pessimists. No. So I won't say that. And again, all of my predictions hinge on our back line. So I'm going to give two. I'm going to give two here. For the back line consisting of Steven Birnbaum in the middle, Donovan Pines on the left, and Andy Nahar on the right.
Yes.
I see a 3-0 to 3-1 win.
Okay.
With the back line of Fred Briant in the middle, Donovan Pines on one side and Steve Birnbaum on the other. I don't know the result. I'm going to say 2-1 win to be optimistic. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was a 1-1 draw. Yeah. Because if there's anything we've seen out of this series is that both teams, we've had both sides be down to 9 men and hold out for a 0-0 draw.
Yes.
Okay?
That's a scary thought.
And that was before Jeff Cameron.
Yeah.
And DC needed to win that game to get a home playoff game.
Yep.
And arguably the reason why we crashed out of the playoffs in 2019 was because we stumbled out of the gate and we faltered and we lost that home playoff game. And in 2018, we hurtled into the playoffs. We rocketed into the playoffs. And hopefully we'll be able to do that this year. We're in a very similar situation. A very similar situation to 2018. Without the superstars in Acosta and Rooney, but we've got the superstar head coach.
Yeah.
In my opinion, coach of the year. It's going to go to Bruce Arena because they're going to set a points record. And how do you not give it to the guy who sets the points record? Yeah. I don't care. The turnaround I've seen from this squad from 2020 and 2019 to 2021.
Yeah.
Bruce Arena could only dream of getting that kind of resounding out of his players.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I think that New England might even has better players than us. They do.
Yeah.
I think Losada with a New England team, I'm not saying invincible, but very, very, very good team. Yeah. Better in the standings than New England is right now. And that's saying something.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. I'm going to throw, another prediction up on screen. We have a 3-1 DC win. So we got that one from David there. And actually, he's also predicted goal scorers. Ariola breaks 2, Canals with a red goal, and Kamara with a PK. Of course, Kamara with a PK. Yeah. Fair. Wouldn't argue with that.
Canals should have had a goal on Saturday. Saturday. He should have had one.
Yeah.
I see it. Ariola should have had one on Wednesday. I mean...
And then if Briant is in, we need a 4-man back line.
We'll
I think
see. We'll see.
they will never happen because this
Losada,
is
yeah.
Losada. He's a
Well,
3-man.
Losada has always said, and he said this in his Q&A, that he doesn't have a preferred formation, and that his formation shouldn't reflect his own personal beliefs, but the group's beliefs.
Yeah.
And the players they've got. So we'll see. I
Yeah.
could see it. If Briant's in, he's not playing. If we're playing a 4-man back line, he's not playing.
Yeah.
He's on the bench.
Yeah, because it's only
Because
two
they're
central
rocking,
defenders.
they're playing, or even better, because it's a pacey side again. We see Joseph Mora play center back because we saw him do that earlier this year.
It's true. Yeah.
We could see Joseph Mora playing center back over Briant at this point, just because we need that pace.
Yeah.
Because they're a very fast attack.
Yes, they do. Another prediction coming in: 3-0 from Victor. There.
I mean,
again, I can
the
see
thing
that
about
happening.
this game, anything is possible.
Yeah.
The only eventuality I don't see is a loss.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't see a loss. I just don't. They're second to last in the East. We're a better team.
Yeah.
They might have better players, but they're not motivated.
I wouldn't even say they've got better players than us. I think they've got.
They couldn't win a home game in their brand new stadium for over a month.
I mean, it was horrible, that run that they had.
Yeah,
and they only just managed to beat Toronto, so it wasn't exactly
which is last place in the league.
Yeah, I wouldn't exactly call that a great win, but yeah, I don't see us getting beat. I see us winning this one. I'm going to go with Victor's of 3-0. I don't see them really attacking.
Until I get more clean sheets out of Bill. I'm not calling clean sheets just yet. And maybe that's just me being scared from the Kempen era, the Kempen stretch, where it's like, I know we're going to concede 1 or 2 every game. I'm going to always throw up a goal. We're going to concede at least 1, especially with the backline woes we're having right now.
Yeah.
Because
it does depend on the 3 players we have at the back.
Bill can only do so much, and he does plenty already.
Yeah. But yeah, if Nahar's at the back, it's a lot more confident than when he's not there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because if not his defending, which has statistically been very good this year, the only thing that he's lacking is winning aerial duels, but he's not tall enough to really be as dominant.
We would never expect that from him.
No, he's not. He's a right back playing center back, and who would have thought that would have been the right play? You want to go back to FIFA 22. He's got 3-star skill moves. What? And his dribbling is under 80.
It's the pace.
This is the guy who put World Cup champion Blaise Matuidi in his back pocket on multiple occasions.
Megging him, just making him fall over.
He takes the soul of at least 3 defenders a game. How does he not have 5-star skills? For those who don't play FIFA, 5 stars is the max. It's a weird rating. Don't ask me why, but it's yeah. He's got a better weak foot than skills? Are you kidding me? Hands up. I don't.
Yep. It's that emoji.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fix yourself, EA.
Before we wrap up today's show, we've got that fan question in, which is from Victor. I think it's Victor who's been up in the chat already. And he asked me on Instagram earlier, what positions do we need more quality depth players in? It's a great question.
So, it's a great question, especially because we're working with a max roster right now, right? So it would involve moving on from some players. And I think the key point in the question is quality depth, because we've got depth everywhere.
Yes.
We've got depth at every position. We have got a plethora of we've got a great, our center midfield is wealthy and deep.
Yep. Stacked.
Especially considering you could play Assad there at the very worst. You could play Skundridge there at the very worst. I mean, he's naturally an 8 or a 6, but he hasn't really shown that at this level in MLS.
Yeah.
Center of the park, I think we're fine. I don't know. Again, I don't know how the contracts all work out off the top of my head. The wings, we're kind of set. I mean, striker and center back, I guess. Quality depth, right? I think we were going into the season thinking Kamara was quality depth. And, quality had air quotes on it. But we knew what he could do in MLS. there was always that potential he could reach the Columbus Kamara, the LA Galaxy Kamara that we brought him in for.
Yeah.
But I think pressing matter, center back. We need somebody other than Fred Briant. And I love Fred Briant. He has been a rock and a statue in literally this season, but in defense.
Yeah.
For the last 3-4 years, he's been solid. He has not been great. He has not been best 11, but he's been team of the week.
Yeah. Consistent.
Consistent. And he scored a goal this year.
Yeah.
He's steady Freddy, he's just
you know what you generally get from him,
right?
Which isn't.
But this year the wheels kind of have fallen off. He's old. His age is starting to show.
35 now, 36,
35, 34. Yeah, he's like basically Lasada's age.
Yeah, and
they played together.
He's got his coaching badges, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Now? So he's already started to go to that.
For those of you who don't know, he got his U.S. coach's license. He did a lot. He did his experience work with the DC United Academy. So I could see him transitioning into that kind of role in the offseason. I don't know what his contract looks like. If he's got another year of playing, I'm sure he's going to want to play.
Yeah.
But if this is the end of his year, if this is the end of his contract, I'm glad, and I hope he does. I think he's a good locker room guy. Yeah. Nobody's spoken anything bad about him. He seems to really. It's so cool to see the veterans and the homegrowns interact. Watching warm-ups and stuff like that. Like when I went to Red Bull for the Red Bull game last week, it was so cool to see Chris Seitz go out during that pre-second half warm-up session and just play pass with Griffin Yao and Moses Nyman.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, look, he's got 2 more kids already. You know what I mean? They looked like a family unit. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. It's good though.
And
that's how it should
it's
be.
Great. Yeah, and just that's the one thing that DC has never lacked in, and that's a bad locker room.
Yeah.
The locker room has never been bad in DC from my following of the team. It's always seemed like a great place to be. Yeah. And I think that goes up to their veterans in Felipe, in Steve Birnbaum, in Fred Briant. So I would love to see him transition into being a coach for the program, but I don't see him playing past this season.
No.
Alfaro if Alfaro is our last center back on the depth chart, great. If he can continue to replicate what he's played like today, that's amazing. But if we go out and we get, I don't know, a solid center back, maybe to even displace Birnbaum.
Yeah.
I would love that. Because Birnbaum's getting up there in age too.
He is, yeah. He's not spring chicken anymore.
And I love that. I love the guy, great player when he's healthy, but he hasn't really been healthy the last 2 years either. So if we get another guy in that can maybe ease his minutes off, then we might see some old Birnbaum again. So you never know.
Yeah.
But center back, I think that's the top position.
Yeah. I totally agree with that.
Depth.
Yeah.
We've got depth everywhere, but quality depth.
Yeah.
Center back.
Yeah. Center back, I would agree with the striker as well.
Yeah. And the reason I say that is because we don't know what Roberto looks like.
Yeah.
If Roberto is a world beater and, the 3 games we've actually seen him play in, he scored 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And he's looked good. He fits.
Yeah.
Him and Kamara are very similar players.
It's true. It's very, very true.
Roberto's 23 and Kamara's 30-ish. Late 30s or late 20s, early 30s, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
And so if Nigel is what Nigel is, if Nigel is what Kamara is next year, I'll take that. And that's great.
100%. Yeah.
And that's quality depth because I don't know if Kamara's got another year on his deal. He slides into that second position. Obviously, Wanchope is probably moved on unless we get him at a very low price because we're not paying his $1.1 million salary.
No, we're paying half of it.
We're paying $200K. We're paying
just the $200K.
200. Just 200. We got him for a fifth of what Minnesota was paying him.
Bargain.
So he's been great for that. I'll take him for a league minimum effectively.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't think we'll be able to hold on to him for a league minimum.
No, not at all.
So
yeah,
we'll see.
Well, yeah, we will. But yeah, I think that answers that question quite nicely. Is the fact that we think we need quality
central
depth.
Central defenders and central attackers. That's what we need. The midfield's fine.
Well,
assuming we don't move on from anyone.
yeah.
But again, I don't know. Come next season, I have no idea who's going to be on this team. I don't.
No, and it's
A
an
lot of
exciting
players
time
got
for us.
options. Yeah, I could honestly see a scenario where there are like 2 people from the starting 11 playing in the starting 11 next season come kickoff.
Yeah.
And I think that in all honesty could be like Andy Nahar and like Kevin Paredes. But I don't even think Paredes will. I don't know if Paredes will be
I
around or not.
no, I think he shifts on and moves to Europe.
Yeah. I don't know. I would want if I were him, I'd want a year of better deliverable stats. The intangibles are there. The potential is there. But he's got
Yeah,
1 goal, 2 assists
yeah,
over 20 some games at this point. I'd want a season where I'm scoring more, I guess. Because he's
yeah,
playing in an attacking role and he's had the chances.
yeah. Oh, we'll see.
But, I can't complain. If he moves, he moves. And if we make him, if we're going to make money off of it, make money.
Yes, yeah. We would need to
So
make some good money, wouldn't we? But
he needs to be more valuable than Chris Durkin and Andy Nahar were when they moved. So
100%. Yeah, totally agree. Right, that's it. We've come to the end. So I want to send my thanks to you, Angus, for coming
yeah,
on
of course,
and
anytime.
being on the
Hopefully, I can
show.
come on more often in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll be welcomed back. All that's left to do really is to let the good folks out there know where they can find you on social media.
Yeah. So I'm on Twitter and Instagram. On Twitter, you could follow me there. That's where I tend to send out my soccer hot takes and stuff like that. It's Angus Long 9. A and L are capitalized. I don't know if that makes a difference. And then on Instagram, it's Angus.s.long, no capitalizations.
Fair. There you
So
go.
that's where you can find me. If you want, drop a follow. That's fine. Sign up for the DC United Kingdom supporters group. I'm in that Twitter group chat. That's
Yes,
how I got on this show.
it's
So
absolutely awesome on there.
do it. It's great. It's a great match day vibe. I'm in 3 different match day chats for the away games at this point. It's a blur. I spend more time looking at my phone than I do sometimes watching the game at certain points because I'm just like trying to catch up with all the conversations. But it's fantastic, and the regular days are also cool because it's a cool group of people.
Yeah, I
So
think
if you haven't joined. That's all I'm saying.
There you go. I can't say any more than that. Really, that's a great endorsement. So, if you're following me on Twitter, if you're not, it's this. It's popping up on screen. It is at DC United Kingdom. Facebook and Instagram, it is at DC United Kingdom FC. If you want to support the show in any way, just head to this link, which is bio.link/DC United Kingdom. And if you do want to come and join us, just head over to dcunitedkingdom.com/membership. And that's it. That's all we've got time for this week. It has been a bumper show. It's been great chatting to you, Angus. I think it's been an absolute fantastic banter that we've had today. And for you guys out there, thank you for watching. If you're watching, if you watch the live stream, thank you. If you're watching this after, thank you, Gwen. And if you're listening to this, thank you for listening to this. This is almost an hour and 40 minutes. It's like a full match with added time. How about that?
How about you start us off at kickoff and you just let us talk over? Actually, if you're on the away broadcast.
Yes, if you're on the away broadcast,
Johnson,
just listen to us.
Keep Dave and Devin up there. But if you're listening to whoever is the Cincinnati guy, then you don't want to listen to them anyways.
No,
just put us
listen
over
to
it.
us. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, look, Kamar's taking a penalty right now. There we go. There's your commentary, guys.
I know.
There's your play-by-play.
And we've won 8-0.
There we go. Oh, man. If we win 8-0. I drive to the games. I will be metroing home if it is an 8-0 victory.
Yes,
I will not be.
No.
I will be getting my car on Sunday morning.
That you'll be covered in beer.
I will need a shower. I need a shower after most games, but I might need to spray myself off with a garden hose before I go inside.
Yes, I think that would happen. But yes, so yes, good luck to DC this weekend. Let's hope we bring the 3 points. We bring plenty of goals and lots of entertainment. So until probably next week, Vamos United.
Vamos.